Hey everyone, my name is Seth Yolorda, and I'm a speaker, coach, and consultant, and I work with individuals and organizations, helping them gain clarity, build momentum, and achieve strategic results. And in today's episode, this is going to be a continuation of a previous episode where we started diving into the top 40 questions you need to answer in order to gain clarity for your life. And I know 40 questions is a lot, but trust me, these 40 questions are foundational in order for you to have the level of clarity so that you can move forward and do the phenomenal work you feel in your heart you are called to do and leave a stamp on this world. That's what we're after. We are after the extraordinary. I don't want you just to live ordinary lives. I want you to live an extraordinary life. In order to live that type of life, you have to have a level of clarity that supersedes the average. You need to know exactly who you are, where you are, why you're going where you're going, how you're going to get there. Like, you need to know all of those questions. Now, these aren't just 40 questions I came up with. These are the exact questions I will walk an individual through when I'm engaged in a one-on-one coaching relationship with them. And so I'm giving these to you for free because I want you to be in the driver's seat of your life. I want you to be able to have agency, to be empowered and equipped, to be able to take control of your life and determine exactly where you are trying to go. So the first 20, you need to watch the previous episode. And today we're going to focus on questions that deal with relationships, your energy, your courage and action, and your legacy. So the first question of this part 2 series is, who are the 5 people you spend the most time with and how do they influence you? There is this saying that says, show me your friends and I'll show you your destiny. You can rise no higher than the company that you keep. There's actually a principle called the influence effect. And the influence effect essentially says that the people you surround yourself with have a greater influence on you than you have on them, and that you will not be able to outperform your closest associations. So it's really important for you to understand who are the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And I can almost promise you that of those 5 people, you all have very similar incomes, very similar family dynamics, very similar types of children, very probably similar religious or spiritual practices, because birds of a feather flock together. And so if you're trying to really clarify where you're going, and if you want to go to the next level, you have to start by really evaluating the people that you're spending the most time with and how do those people influence you. Now, I'm not suggesting that you need to get rid of your friends if you realize that they're not actually contributing to your well-being. You might have to put some distance in between you and them, but that's just the reality, that if you recognize that where I'm going is different from where they're going, there's an old scripture that says, can 2 walk together unless they be agreed? So you have to be willing to say, who are the people I spend the most time with? How are they influencing me? How are they sharpening me? How am I sharpening them? And if I continue in this type of relationship with them, will I arrive at my intended destination? The second question I want you to ask yourself is, who are you surrounding yourself with who are pushing you to be better? I believe you need pushers in your life. You need pullers in your life. A pusher is someone who is pushing you, who's encouraging you, someone who knows your goals, knows what you're working towards, and is pushing you. As a coach, my role is to really push people towards their goal. You also need pullers. Pullers are those individuals that are a few steps ahead of you who are living such extraordinary, phenomenal, courageous lives that every time you see them, you feel compelled, you are pulled toward action. There's some individuals in my life, I can think of them right now, where, man, they are pulling me into my future self. Now, are they actually doing something? Are they physically pulling me? No. Are they emotionally pulling me? No. But I see the moves they're making. I see the influence that they have, and I am inspired by it. I am challenged by it. I am encouraged by it, and I am pulled forward because of their work. So I want to ask you, who are you surrounding yourself with that is pushing you to be better? And on some level, who are you looking up to that is pulling you into greatness? Question number 3, what relationships do you need to invest in more deeply? This might be a question around your family, your children, your spouse. I'm in a text thread with a couple friends, and some of them have older kids, some of them have younger kids like myself. And one of my friends in that thread asked the question of the older guys, What are some of the things that you would have hoped you would have taught your children at a young age that now that they're grown, you wish you would have taught them? And their response was interesting. They said, you know what? I don't think there's anything that I should have taught them or wish I would have taught them. I just wish I would have spent more time. They said, I wish I would not have been so focused on hustling and grinding and crushing that I missed the valuable time I had with my children. And so I want to ask you the question, what relationships do you need to invest in more deeply? It might be with a child. It might be with a sibling. It might be with a coworker. It might be with someone in your community, a neighbor, someone that you know is going through a hard time or someone who's in need. And you say, you know what? I really need to pour into this person. I want you to write down 2 or 3 names of individuals that you say, you know what? This week, this month, I really want to invest more deeply in these relationships. The fourth question, how do you want people to feel after they interact with you? I absolutely love this question because this is a question of value. We've kind of gotten to it earlier on in the last episode, but when someone interacts with you, what do you want them to feel? When you leave their presence, do you want them to be rejoicing or do you want them to be sad? Like, how is it that you want people to feel when they're experiencing you? Robin Sharma tells a story of, I think a lesson his father taught him was that he said, Robin, when you are born, people are rejoicing and you are crying. When you die, live your life in such a way that you are rejoicing, but people are crying. That is really the essence of life, is how do you want people to feel when they interact with you? How do you want to move through life in relationships with people? You don't want to get to the end of your life, and when you're on your deathbed, you are crying because there's no one around you. You're dying alone, broken relationships. You didn't invest in people. Live your life in such a way so that when you are on your deathbed, you are surrounded by your loved ones and you can die with a smile on your face, even though everyone in the room might be crying because they lost a giant. Everyone, I just want to take a minute and invite you to join the Accelerate Clarity coaching cohort. This is a coaching cohort designed for individuals who are serious about crushing their goals, and they recognize they need to be a part of a community that will hold them accountable and that will support them as they accelerate towards their future self. If that's you, I want you to go to visionclarityconsulting.com/accelerate. You get all the information there. We meet twice a week. We have hot seats. We have quarterly masterminds. This is designed for individuals who want to take serious the call on their life. And so if that's you, jump over to that website. I'll put the link below. You can learn all about it. This is a 12-month process. It's a 12-month coaching cohort where we are going to make sure that you reach your goals, whatever your goals would be, financial, fitness, your faith, spiritual goals, professional goals, personal goals, whatever your goals will be. These are for individuals who say, you know what? I need community. I need support. I want to make sure I'm not doing this thing alone. I want you to check out visionclarityconsulting.com/accelerate. I'll see you there. Peace. The fifth question I want you to answer is, are you asking for help and support when you need it? There are a lot of people who go through life feeling as though they're living in the wild, wild west, and they have to be everything to all people. But I want you to recognize that you might need support. So what are the areas of your life where you need support? What are the areas of your life that you need assistance and you need help? And are you leaning into that support? Are you making yourself vulnerable so that other people can truly understand what you need? So those are questions that I generally ask my clients around relationships. Now I want to ask you energy questions. For example, number 1, what drains your energy and what fuels it? What are the things that give you life and what are the things that sap life from you? The second question is, how well are you taking care of your body, your mind, and your emotions? Are you getting 8 hours of sleep? Are you drinking, a half a gallon of water a day? Are you eating vegetables and taking supplements? Are you exercising? Are you getting sunlight? Are you being grounded? Are you meditating and journaling and sitting in silence and solitude? What are your rhythms like? What are you doing to ensure that you maintain high levels of energy? The third question is, are you prioritizing rest and recovery, or are you always running on empty? there is this badge of honor that we feel like we give ourselves when we know that we're burning the candle at both ends of the stick. But I just want to tell you that if you're living a life like that, you are sabotaging your ultimate success. There was for many years this idea that you need to be grinding and you need to be hustling and that you can't be sleeping and that sleep is for suckers. And I just want to tell you, I'm not talking about laziness, but you need to make sure that you are prioritizing your rest. You need 7, 8 hours of sleep every night. And listen, there might be some billionaires who say, I get 4 hours of sleep, right? Okay, but yes, they might be thriving financially, but let's look at all of the other areas of their life. And this is no shade, this is not judgment, but I just want to tell you that balance is key. And sometimes it's counterbalance. I recognize that there may be some seasons where, man, it's like 6.5, 7 hours, and then other seasons it's 7.5, 8 hours, and it might fluctuate. Just the other week, I was traveling East Coast and I went to bed late. I had to get up early, and I only probably got 5 hours of sleep. Like, I get it, but those should be the exception, not the rule. So are you prioritizing rest and recovery? Fourth question, what practices help you stay grounded and present? What are you doing every single day that makes sure that you don't live from a place of reaction, but you live from a place of genuine response and authenticity? The fifth question under this energy category, how can you make your daily routine more aligned with your long-term goals? Now, this is a question that is really around prioritizing your work, prioritizing your day. And I just want to say that if you are not intentionally going into the day thinking about what are my goals for the day, what are my objectives today, what does success look like for today, what are my wins, W-I-N, for today, you are failing to achieve all of what you could possibly achieve. You are going to underperform significantly if you're just going through the motions and you're not being intentional about how you're approaching each day. So make sure you're answering these questions honestly, and I really hope that you're writing down your answers to these questions. The sixth question under courage, this is actually question number 11 of the 20 questions part 2. What is one bold move that you've been avoiding but need to take action on? Maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's something financial, maybe it's signing up for a gym membership, maybe it's doing the taxes, right? Maybe there's something that okay, I need to do it. I haven't been doing it. I've been procrastinating. I've been waiting. I've been delaying for any number of reasons. I want you today to eat the frog. Write down what is the bold move that you need to take. Ask yourself, why have I been avoiding it? And give yourself a date within the next 7 days of when you're going to actually do it. This is me pushing you. And I need you to do that. Question number 12, if you weren't afraid, what would you do differently? What would you go after? What would you pursue? Fear sets the boundary for what you achieve in life. Everything that you have achieved in life has been inside of your fear boundary. And the only way that you can level up and go beyond is if you expand the fear boundary. So if you weren't afraid, what would you do differently? Question number 13, what does your intuition say about the direction you should go? You're thinking about your vision, you're thinking about your direction. What does your intuition say? Oh man, this is a tough one. You might have to sit in some silence and solitude for this one. You just can't be watching television and news and SportsCenter and this, that, and the other and scrolling and also hear your intuition. You need to sit in silence and solitude to really hear this. Number 14, how will you measure success beyond external achievements? What really is the marker of success for you? If it's the new car, the big house, the beautiful wife, the beautiful kids, okay, those are great, but beyond that, how do you really measure success beyond external achievements? What does true fulfillment look like? When do you really get a sense of accomplishment? These are the questions I want you to sit with and answer. Question number 15. What is the next small step you can take today to move forward? We've talked about your vision last episode. We've identified where you're trying to go. What is the next small step you can take today? Not the next small step you can take tomorrow or this week. What's the next small step you can take today? And for some of you all, that next small step might just be journaling, answering these questions, writing out your plan for the week. That might be what the next small step is. That's what I want you to understand is what is the next small step? That's what I want you to get. That's what I want you to answer. What is the next small step you should take today to move forward? Question number 16, and these are legacy questions. If today were your last day, what would you regret not having done? Oh man, it's getting hard, y'all. It's getting hard. What would you regret not having done? If today were your last day, it might be something crazy like, man, I've always wanted to skydive. Okay, great, right? So we need to put them on our list of things to do ASAP. Not to suggest that you're going to die and today's your last day, but if you know there's something that's on your heart that you want to do, that if you didn't get it done, it would really give you a deep sense of regret, why not just put it on your list to do? Oh, maybe it's the fear boundary. Maybe you need to confront that and address that fear boundary and expand that fear boundary. So it might be a relationship. It might be, man, I didn't reconcile with this person. If I were to die today, I would really regret not having reconciled. So pick up the phone and reconcile. Well, Seth, you don't know me. It's not that simple. It's not that easy. I get it. But if you have something in your life that sincerely is a regret if it goes undone, then you need to reconcile that. And it might not even be something you can do. So if it is a relationship, maybe the person doesn't want to hear from you. Maybe the relationship is too strained, but you need to be able to reconcile that so that you can say, I have done everything I could do to reconcile this relationship. So if I die today, yeah, I long for a better relationship with the person, but I don't have any regrets because I did everything I could do. If you feel like you have a regret, it means there's still something left undone for you to do. Question number 18. How can you make sure you're living and not just existing? Existing is going through the motions. Existing is just checking off to-do list items one day after another. Living is joy, fun, happiness, laughter. If you haven't had joy, laughter, fun, happiness throughout this last week, throughout this last month, then you're not living. You're just existing. If you're constantly hustling and grinding, and you could never take time just to stop and enjoy what you're going through, enjoy the fruit of your labor, then what are you laboring for? How can you make sure you're living and not just existing? Question number 19. What story are you writing with your life? I think about the Bible all the time, and specifically the book of Acts. I don't know if you read much, or you may be listening to this and you may or may not be a believer, but in the book of Acts, it tells the story of mighty men and women who did phenomenal things for the early church and for the cause of Christ. And I often say to myself, if I were to put my life, if I were to insert my life and my story into the book of Acts, how would it read? Would the book remain congruent, or would it be like, man, there were, Paul, he did these mighty things, and then Seth got upset because he had a flat tire. Like, how would the book of Acts read if my life was inserted into it? Would it still be as miraculous? That's the question. So is the story that you're writing for your life, is it miraculous and is it extraordinary? What story are you writing? And the last question I want you to answer is, what truly matters to you at the end of it all? When it's all said and done, what are the 1, 2, maybe 3 things that really will matter to you? I want you to write your answers to these questions. And when you're done, just leave it in the chat. Say, done. Let me know. Let this be a little coaching moment. I want to hold you accountable. That if you've watched the end of this video, then I want you to write your answers down and let me know that you wrote them down so that you can begin to have the level of clarity that you need to take decisive, massive action in your life. Listen, thanks so much for watching this. If you're on YouTube, listening to this, if you're on podcasts, I would just ask that you would share this episode with someone who you know is also looking for clarity, who also needs to figure out where they're going and how they're going to get there. Share with them this episode, share with them these questions, and maybe they could even serve as an accountability partner for you as you all are working through your answers to these questions together. And if there's anything I can do, please jump over to my website, Vision Clarity Consulting, reach out to me. You can always leave a message here on YouTube or find me on Instagram or LinkedIn and send me a DM. I would love to connect. Have a phenomenal day. We'll see you next time. Peace.